Today I want to talk to you guys about 3 things that honestly bug the shit out of me when we're back here in the USA. That kind of sounded harsh when I said it out loud.
Yeah, it sounds kind of harsh.
But they do bug me though.
They do bug you, but they also bug me.
Yeah, true. Anyway, so back to the video. Over the past few years, perhaps even decades, I feel, well, I know based on my experience that most Americans have become babies. Men have become man babies and women have become woman babies. The reason why I say that is because they have become, when I say they, I speak about most Americans, not all Americans. I believe for the most part, Americans have become demanding, dependent, and needy. Sorry, my fellow Americans, my fellow American friends. Yes, you are part of this generalized categorization as well as I am as well. And I realize more and more of this as I spend more time, or as we actually spend more time outside of the USA. And honestly, you and I talk about this a lot as well.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you are new here, I am Jay, and my other half, who's behind the camera right now, is STEPHAN. And together we are STEPHAN. Half of the year we live in Germany, and the other half we live here in Southern California. Today I want to talk to you guys about 3 things that honestly really bug me when we are back here in the USA. So I'm basically taking a break from my usual sensitive subjects that I love to talk about on this channel. But rest assured, next week stay tuned, because I have something I'd like to discuss which will either enlighten my fellow Americans or it will piss them off. So next week, I want to discuss one of America's biggest problems is how America became a nation of victims and how this leads to so many other issues in the American culture today, including the American politics. I see a lot of things differently since living in Germany. I think it's normal when you spend time away from your daily life, you start seeing things from a different perspective. And I think that is what is happening to me right now. It's actually been happening for a few years, but now these realizations are surfacing. So without further ado, here are 3 things that bug me about the American culture when I come back to the USA. Number 1 is entitlement and neediness. So I think we all know, by all, I mean the world. So I think everyone knows, even Americans know, that we are entitled little shits and we are needy. If you are American and you deny this, then you're lying to yourself. I'm sorry. Obviously not every single American is like this, but for the most part, we all know that Americans are needy and they're entitled. So it's better to just admit it and let's just move the fuck on. And I really see this in customer service. I discussed this in one of my previous videos where we flew back from Germany to USA, and oh boy, did I get some hate comments. But you know what I feel about hate comments? Absolutely nothing. Everyone has a right to share their opinions, so it doesn't really bother me. They're funny though sometimes, especially when there are an entire paragraph written of hate.
Somebody actually wrote a whole paragraph?
Yeah, not just once, actually a few times. Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's crazy.
But at the same time, I feel like I must have triggered something in that person to write so much for so long. So then I kind of feel bad. So that's my point, which I've made before in my previous videos, is when I discuss these types of sensitive topics, my intent is never to piss anyone off or to make them feel uncomfortable or trigger something. I just like to discuss things openly with my opinions, and I would like to hear your opinions as well. And I think that's how we learn about the world that we live in, and it kind of teaches everyone a bit of tolerance, I guess. So I see this entitlement and neediness in the most smallest and mundane of things. For example, going out to eat at a restaurant. Americans honestly are notorious for demanding nearly everything their way. It's like they will pick up the menu, but they will change the fucking ingredients. I'm like, really? For example, they'll be like, well, I don't like this, or I'm allergic to this, or I don't like this with this. Can you put this on the side? Can you please make sure you cook it this way or make it this way? But at the same time, I have to admit that I used to be that person, and I actually still am. But the funny thing is, when I'm in Germany, I'm like, you know what? Shut the fuck up. This is the menu. This is what you get. Don't make a fuss. Just order what it is. And honestly, I don't have any issues. But as soon as we get back to USA, all of a sudden, I don't know what happens. Maybe it's just past habits or the environment. I feel like when I'm here in the USA, I get back into the mode of customizing my menu every time we go to the restaurant. And I've actually gotten much better at it. Now I just pick whatever is there. The only thing I'll actually ask for the side these days is just the dressing on the side. We had a friend is the key word here. So we had a friend from LA, and he was honestly notorious for customizing everything and treating everyone in the service industry just terrible. And I remember one time we went out with him, he ordered food and he ate half of his food, like literally, I believe more than half was already gone. And then he complained that it wasn't hot enough, that it was barely warm. And I love what the waiter said. Waiter was like, well, if it was cold, why did you finish half of it? Then he said, well, I was hungry. So unfortunately, that actually traumatized us. But that was only one example. There are other less dramatic examples that have happened so many times with so many people that finally now we said, anytime we find a restaurant that both of us love, we now don't go out with anyone else, right?
True.
Now it's always just the two of us if we find a nice restaurant, because we don't want to ruin our experience and ruin the waiter's experience or the staff's experience. The second thing that bugs me every time we come back to USA is people love to play victim here in the USA. This is something which we will discuss next week as well, because there's like a whole thing that goes around with this mentality. Americans in general love to play the victim card. And literally here in the USA, no one that I know right now, I can't think of anyone, like literally no one that I know right now takes ownership of the shitty things that happen in their life. Or, you know, if something tragic happens, they don't look at the thing objectively. Poor me, it happened to me. But nearly everyone that I know, they've developed this obsession with blaming their past. Like when they were children, they blame their parents, they blame their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their exes, they blame their friends, they blame their colleagues. I feel like anything that happens to them, instead of reflecting, they find a way to victimize themselves. But next week, I'd like to discuss an American author, which in 1992, he said that Americans find a way to victimize themselves. And if no one hears them, they will go to a therapist who then assures them they actually are a victim. And when I heard this, I was like, fuck yeah, that's so true. In California, it's almost has become the norm to have a therapist. Now I get it, certain people actually do need therapy. I have a couple of people in my life, actually a few people in my life, that actually have gone through traumatic experience in the past few years. So those people, they do need therapy, and I'm glad that they're getting help. But I'm talking about most of my friends here in California, they all have a therapist. So for these people, having a therapist in California is like having a best friend that you pay for. And honestly, sometimes I wish I was a therapist, because therapists here, I'm sure, make mega money. I would be very happy, financially speaking, if I was a therapist here in California. The third point, which bugs me so much, is celebrations. Americans find a way to celebrate every fucking thing in their life. I mean, I get birthdays, I get weddings, but come on, like now there are gender reveal parties, there are baby showers, there's a baby sprinkle. And when I first heard that, what the fuck is a baby sprinkle? So it's basically, if you have a second baby, then it's a baby sprinkle. Then you have Sweet 16, and there used to be a show on, I believe it was MTV, My Sweet 16, and it was like literally the most ridiculous show ever created. I don't think you ever saw it, but it was so ridiculous. It was basically a bunch of high school girls that turn 16 and they throw a lavish sweet 16 party, but throughout the whole party and preparation for the party, they're constantly just complaining and being bitchy, like the cliche version of a high school girl that you see in movies. But I feel like every time we're back in the USA, there's always something going on. And it's fun, I get it, but honestly, it gets very tiring. Something which really bothers me now that we don't live here full time is this obsession with the whole gift registry, which is tied into this whole celebration thing. And I read somewhere online recently that the whole gift registry culture is gaining popularity in Germany and in Europe in general. For someone that is not familiar with gift registry, I know there might be some European viewers that are not familiar with gift registry. So basically this trend started years and years ago here in the USA with weddings. So they would have wedding registry where you go to a store or two or three and you pick out the things that you like and they create a registry for you. So when you send out your invitation cards for the wedding, in there you write, where are you registered for your gifts? So people can basically go to these stores and purchase what is on your list. So they usually typically have everything from something that is very reasonably priced to something that is very expensive. But I have been to a couple of weddings where everything is like ridiculously expensive. Everything is around $500 to $1,000. And I'm thinking like, are you fucking kidding me? Why would you ask for such expensive gifts? First of all, why would you even ask for gifts? That just doesn't make sense to me. It never has. I get it when a young couple is starting out their life and they want to build a new home and they need, they need a blender or whatever it is. But at the same time, this is where my thing is with this. At the same time, I feel like if you are throwing a lavish wedding where you're basically throwing this big party, then don't throw such a big party. Be practical and save that money to buy what you need to buy to set up house. To me, like logically, that would make sense. And if the whole wedding registry isn't bad enough, that has trickled down to now people are having gift registries for baby showers, for the baby sprinkle, for graduation parties. And it's like, it's just getting out of hand. And I don't understand. It's like asking for a gift. I would never ask anyone for a gift. I don't even expect anyone to bring a gift. Then there's also this other trend that has started in the USA for the past few years, where it's called no boxed gifts. So they don't do a registry, they don't ask for gifts, but they do ask for cash. So you basically put in a box, like there's like a box, like someone looks like a donation box, where you put in $100 or $200 per person when you attend their wedding reception. And to me, that's also really awkward because why are you asking for money? If you can't afford to throw a wedding, then don't do a wedding. And in certain cases, I remember one of our friends, they got married. And so she said they were collecting basically money so they could go on a honeymoon. I'm sorry, but I just feel like that is really just strange. I don't know. I could use many other words for it, but I think it's just very strange. I find it strange. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Maybe I'm the only person that finds this strange, but I always find it strange when people ask for something from someone else. This video, it probably sounds like I'm complaining, which I guess I am a little bit, but I thought it might be funny as well to share my experience and what I see things differently now here in the USA. Please tell me what you guys think. If you're from the USA, let me know if you agree with these things. Do you also see them the way I see it? And my viewers in Germany or in Europe, please tell me what you think. Do you relate to this? Is it my misunderstanding or misconception that these things don't happen in Europe? But honestly, everything seems to just go smoothly in Germany. Yeah, it's just less dramatic. Here, I feel like everything is very dramatic. Maybe I'm the drama. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I am the drama. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Wishing you all a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in the next video.